George is here. I left them alone to talk while doing some laundry. But not even half an hour later, George flings himself in the bathroom. I've not the time to retort that he closes the door behind him with an appalled expression and booms. "He asked me how Fred is! He has been dead these 20 years!" First time ever I hear George mention involuntarily Fred or he's dead. This is a mark he's really stunned. I know. He has some mind blanks. "Some mind blanks?" he hisses. "There is nothing left in there." "What did you tell him?" I ask, directing my wand, hot hair sprouting from it, on the clothes hanged on the rack to dry them up. "I didn't say anything. I was so stunned I didn't know what to say. I think I blabbed something about the loo." "For the best, perhaps. Now he has got time to think. Probably, when you will get back, he will have remembered." But he's not listening to me anymore. He's staring fixedly at the rack. "What?" I ask, following his gaze. "Hermione, I realize your sexual life with my brother is probably not one of the most exciting, but at least for Harry's sake, you could wear something a bit more enticing, don't you think?" he says, taking my panties from the racket and observing them skeptically. I snatch them back enraged, and I throw him a dirty t-shirt from the pile while he leaves the bathroom sniggering. When George is gone, I found Harry, fidgeting, uneasy. "Something wrong?" I ask while I'm taking my wand to change his appearance for the day so we can go out. "Fred is dead, isn't he?" "Yes, Harry. He died long time ago." "I wondered how much," he mutters, and then he takes a pondering expression. By any chance, did I kill him?" he says, wavering after a few minutes. I almost let my wand drop in surprise. "Of course not! Why are you saying that?" He frowns. "I don't know. I feel like it is my fault if he's dead. But I don't remember why." I sighed, the poor man. "No, it's not your fault," I say, opting for a deep chestnut for his eyes today. "He has been killed, unfortunately, but not by you." "Why are you changing my face?" he asks innocently, staring at me with now some brown eyes that unfortunately are scarcely less dazzling than the green ones. "So we can go out." "Can I not go out with my face?" "No, Harry. Better not." "Why?" Why am I feeling as if we are spiraling down at a monstrous speed? Because people are going to harass you.
"Why?"
Because you're famous.
"Why?"
This conversation reminds me forcefully of when Hugo was 3, a maddening time in which this question obsessed me day and night. Because when you were young, you did something extraordinary, and people admire you for that. He's silent, reflecting on my words, while I'm lightening his hair and thinning his lips in an unsuccessful attempt to render him less handsome and more a nobody. After some time, I hear him saying under his voice, "The Hogwarts bottle. Okay, I think we are on the right track." Despite the mixed weather, we spent a few days nicely enjoying the outdoor in a remote wild England sceneries. We walk in Scotland, we hike in the peak, we run on the beach in the south, we climb hills in the Lake District. I recount him about Hogwarts time, and a bit here and there about Voldemort, and I see some slow improvements. Day after day, his memory is getting back so steadily, he is adding particulars left back on purpose. Ted joins us before or after his shift, and George for dinner, his lunch. I'm glad to see Harry becoming less wavering and confused and a bit more self-assured. Company does him good. I'm sure this is working. I feel confident we can bring back his memory slowly without too much of a shock. See, I'm following diligently Ted's instruction. That is, I'm doing it at daytime at least. During nighttime, it's a different matter altogether. Am I sleeping in the same bed as him? Yes, I do. I'm having sex with him? Yes. Unfortunately or fortunately, depending on if you're asking to the rational part or the sentimental one, I do. I don't go looking for it, mostly, but I hope every night he will do it instead of me. And unfortunately, or fortunately, at some point, he always does. Don't judge me too harshly. Try to keep in mind I felt lonely and neglected for so very long, and I think I have the right to experience this at least once during my lifetime, and it's now or never. When George bade us farewell tonight, I leave Harry quite serene, washing dishes. By hand, I'll never understand this. To get a quick shower, very well satisfied with the day just past. However, when I get back, barely 20 minutes later, a totally different scene and a totally different mood presents to me. I find him in the middle of the kitchen, very much taken by a scroll he is reading. His expression upset, a dark frown, marking deep lines on his forehead. Hearing his name called, he startles, as he hadn't heard me coming in the least, all caught by the content of the note. He outstretches it toward me.
It's for you. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have read it. There wasn't any name on.
I take it, wondering who and what could have caused such a reaction. As soon as the scroll is in my hand, he shot out of the kitchen without a word. I notice then the window open, and Jeremy, our owl, perched on the windowsill drinking from a bowl. I start to realize with a tremble who might be from, and judging by Harry's expression, I can also get that the content is surely not pleasant.
Hermione, what the fuck is going on? It's already more than a fortnight you are there, and I haven't received a single note from you. Nothing. I'm still your husband, for Christ's sake. I want you back. I don't give a damn how screwed he is. He can fuck himself. He has no right to keep you there. You are my wife, not his. And you have a son, in case you forgot, who is asking for you. You are getting back. If you don't, I'll come and get you. Ron.
Charming, real charming, a perfect English gentleman. I'm greatly vexed. First of all, who does he think he is? As if he can order me about, like if I'm his property. But most of my vexation comes from Harry having intercepted it. All our effort, all our very careful planned chat to bring his memory back slowly and carefully, and with just one move, everything is ruined by his utter lack of sensitivity. I've never been so enraged in the whole course of my life. He must consider himself very lucky to be there and not here. I must prepare for the worst. This is a steep plunge in reality for Harry. I take a big breath, gathering my energy for whatever I might have to confront, and with the scroll still in my hand, I amble over the living room. The worst is there, waiting for me as suspected. Harry is sitting on the edge of the bed, crouched on himself, his arms folded tightly on his stomach. Harry, I start in saying, but he interrupts me harshly under his voice straight away, the aggressivity back in full form.
He is right. You must return home. This is wrong. You shouldn't be here at all.
No, Harry, he is wrong, very wrong, and I won't go back yet. He stands up, suddenly angry, raising his voice balefully.
He is right. You are his wife, not mine, and you shouldn't be here dealing with my insanity. You should be there, taking care of him and your son.
They are fine. They don't need me. I'll stay here, I said, resolute, endeavoring maintaining myself quite chill.
You are going. This is my place. If I don't want you here, you must go. He shouts, challenging me with an aggressive tone. You will need to go eventually. It might as well be now. I'm fine too. I don't need a nurse. I don't need you here. He bellows, keeping his fists clenched, all uptight and rigid. Oh, please! I burst out, this affirmation piercing my chilled manor in a flash, throwing wisdom to the wind. How can you possibly say something like that? You are not fine at all. You are the exact opposite of fine. I assure you, I'm perfectly fine. I don't want anybody here. I don't want you here. He snarls, eyes flashing. I see. So everything is fine, and you're very well, right? I snap back, getting warm. So then now, you will look me straight into the eyes, and you will tell me so. You will tell me, Hermione, I feel great, and I want you to go away, and I'll do it right now, but you must mean it. You must convince me of it. He stares at me darkly for a moment, and then his expression changes completely in an incipit of breakdown. He sacks on the sofa and crouches again in the same position as I found him, shoulders quivering, his head in his hands. I let the scroll fall, and I hurry to his side, encircling him with my arms. He trembles so that it breaks my heart. Hermione, you are right. I'm not fine. He stammers, his voice uneven. I'm not fine, he repeats. I feel my stomach clenching in hearing these words. I know, but you'll be, believe me, I say, kissing his hair. He shakes his head. My mind is crumbling. I know. I feel it. There is something not right. I don't remember things. All is confused. Sometimes I feel dreadful. I don't know why. Something bad happened, I'm sure, but I don't remember what it is, and I think I have a son. He raves frantically, words jumbling up, but then stops abruptly, lurches and gasps loudly, looking up in front of him. And maybe a daughter too. He places his hand in front of his mouth, and I see his eyes widening in the effort of remembering. Hermione, I think she is... I interrupt him straight away. He's starting to get too agitated, and all this sudden remembering, it isn't good. I don't want his mind to shatter under the weight of these discoveries. Calm down. I'm here, and I'll help you. Don't worry. Go to bed, and try to relax. Try not to think. I manage to persuade him to sleep under the duvet, as he's starting to shake heavily and panting, a cold sweat covering his forehead. Calm down, I entreat in a whisper. Everything is fine, I say, reassuring, witnessing his deep distress while I lie down close to him. It's not fine, Hermione. I'm going insane. I feel it. You are not going insane. I believe you are only having a panic attack. It will pass. I'll keep your hand until it does. Could I have a sleeping potion? He asked pleadingly. No, Harry. It will pass soon. I'm here. I won't leave you. I keep him close, caressing his head, while by degree the tremor ceases, and I perceive him relaxing close to me. I'll make a cup of tea, okay? I say then, standing up. But in a return of anxiety, he grasps my hand tightly, eyes wide open, full of anguish, trying to retain me there. I'll be back soon, I add reassuringly, slipping away from him. I shouldn't leave him right now. I know I shouldn't. A relapse is behind the corner, but I need to answer Ron's note as soon as it might be. I don't want to run the risk of him coming here. It would be dreadful. Harry's mind is too vulnerable and to stand the confrontation. Ron would crush him mercilessly. I go to the kitchen and I put the kettle on. Jeremy is still waiting on the windowsill, surely receiving instruction to wait for an answer. I stroke his feathers, at which he nibbles affectionately my fingers. Then I take a quill and I sit down. What to write? A part of me would just like to send, "Oh, just go to hell!" But I feel a bit more diplomacy is needed. Ron, I'm not coming back for the moment. I know you don't care about him, but I do, and he's not well. I ought to stay a bit longer. There is no point of you coming here because I wouldn't follow anyway. I'm sorry I didn't write, but our parting hasn't been off the friend list, and to be quite frank, I didn't feel like hearing from you. Your insensitivity is unbelievable and deplorable. Stay where you are and be assured that when he's better, I'll be back. Kiss Hugo from me, Hermione.
believe. I died on Jeremy's legs, and after another nibble, flies away. Watching him disappearing into the night, I sigh, heaviness enveloping me. I'll be back. Writing that sentence, I felt sick, and I struggled to put it on paper, aware of the necessity to have it written down to get used to the idea. I find some chamomile in a cupboard, and I soak some in hot water. Harry, in the living room, is sitting up, staring blankly at the scroll on the floor. I pick it up, and I throw it roughly in the fireplace, hating Ron with a fierceness rarely felt. I brought you a chamomile tea. Drink it. It'll help you. He takes the cup from my hands mechanically, his eyes still wide open, so hollow they scare me. He is lost in a world of his own where I cannot reach him. The name of my daughter is Lily, who is also my mom's name. He says quite suddenly, his gaze still far away, clutching the cup with both hands. Okay, so it was Lily, the daughter he remembered of. I was hoping for sunrise. Nothing good can come from Lily's memory right now. I think she has red hair. She did. I can't remember her face, though. He admits, looking up without seeing me with those scared round eyes. I think... He hesitates. Hermione, you say that she did have red hair. Is she... He asked with a tremulous voice. Yes, Harry, I murmur, placing a comfort hand on his leg. She was my precious girl. I remember now, he murmurs, and then, lowering his gaze on his cup, I called her my pet. And his face crumples with the haunting memory, and his shoulders shakes with a silent, tearless sob. Okay, I cannot stand this. I take the cup away from him, and I make him rest, head on pillow. I turn off the light, and I lie close to him. I hold him, I caress him, I kiss him, I lull him in his distress, all the while feeling an acute ache floating my body. And being so close to him, so almost blended with him, I'm sure this is the same he's feeling. Can torments trespass from skin to skin, from mind to mind? Hermione, don't go away. Don't leave me. His low, anxious, broken whisper. Come to me, in the darkness of the room. I won't leave you. I'll stay here. We made love not long after. I felt he needed it, and I couldn't deny to him, despite all I promised myself and Ted. How could I deprive him of this little comfort in a sea of desperation? It has been different from the other times, though. There was so much pain and anguish involved, it can hardly have been called pleasant. All it was racking passed from him to me. If I thought to absorb it only through a hug, I was deceiving myself. Then, and only then, I really knew the abyss of misery he is in. He held to me tightly as to prevent to sinking further, and I truly hope it helped me to keep on surface. I know he managed to get rid of part of the torments, because now they are in me. He nodded off soon after, but I, now, cannot sleep. He's not sleeping. I thought he was, but he's not. He keeps turning in bed, chased by his own memories getting back, one by one, connected in an unbreakable chain. How much did he bring back to mind already? At one point, he sits bolt upright. I sit up close to him, hugging my legs. The chilly air of the night on my naked skin makes me shiver. The only part that is not cold is the one that brushes against his warm body. I let the silence suspended between us, and then I look for his hand in the dark. On finding it, I rest mine on the top of his. "I've got 2 sons," he whispers. "James and Albus." I answer in the affirmative, getting closer. "I had Lily, but I have another daughter too." I rest my head against him and I put an arm around his shoulder. "Sunrise." James chose the name. I call her something else though. "A pet name. Siri!" he exclaims while I nod slowly, and I wonder how long it will take him to make that close connection that will bring him to Ginny. The silence that follows leaves me uneasy, and I shiver even more under the chill and the dread for what is coming. "You are not the mother of any of them, are you?" But he doesn't wait for my answer. He continues with his train of thought. "You are married to Ron, and you have got 2 children from him." I nod, keeping close to him. "So then..." I spoon him toward me, and I hold him as tight as I possibly can until what I was dreading happens. All his body becomes suddenly rigid, and he gasps. I can see, as though is happening in my head, all is set going on his. I see Ginny, with her red hair, her freckles, her almond golden eyes. I see her as a 15-year-old girl running in Harry's arms in our 6th year when the Quidditch Cup was won. I see them kissing. I see them together that summer night on the beach, and I see them playing with Albus and James. I see them arguing and make up. I see them suffering together for Lily's death and recovering. I see her scolding him, and I see him teasing her. I see her laughing, I see her hungry, and I see her crying. It touches me so strikingly. I see her so vividly, and yet I know that, nevertheless, what I see and what I feel is just 1/100th of what he's seeing and feeling, and my chest goes up and down as I'm striving not to break down, and Harry's head is rested on it as it keeps hold of me, as if I'm the only thing that can save him. "Why?" And it's barely audible. There is no answer to this question, and I don't try to give any. I know there is nothing I can do, because what he's feeling now is what I felt for almost all my life watching him with Ginny. That desperate longing for somebody that you know it will never be yours. He had it, and lost it, and I never had it. He is alive, but only to torture me with the notion of impossibility. Is it not the same pain? Is it not the same feeling? And he starts kissing my breast, and his hands on my back moves lustily now, striving to banish the anguish through lovemaking that characterized most of our intercourses. But I must stop him. We cannot allow ourselves to indulge in this contorted loop in which we are tangled any longer. Therefore, I take his face, and I move it away from me. But his mouth lifts my breast only to attack my neck, attracting our bodies together. I push him away gently, keeping my hands firmly on his chest not to allow me to come any closer. And I shake my hand, my words shocked. He looks at me. His face is illuminated from sunlight coming from the outside, and I can see his desperate look, his face tricked in a tormented grimace. And I know what he is asking me without speaking. He is begging me with those intense, vivid green eyes to be Ginny only for tonight, to help him to bear the loneliness and grief through love. I understand all this from a look. I know that tonight is the last time he will do so, because now he's not in denial anymore. He knows very well who I am, as I know very well who he'll pretend me to be. There is no forgetting, unfortunately, tonight. Everything is even too clear, a clearance that doesn't leave hope. And I consent to play the part without denial on my part either. And I'll be good. I won't speak, not to break the charm he's trying with all his might to create. I drew away my hands, giving him free rein to do whatever he wants with me, to use my body to gain some ephemeral solace. It's sweet, and it's sour. It's sweet because his hands on my body, his movements inside me, make me explode in an almost unbearable ecstasy. And it's sour because I once sensed this nevermore in my life, and I try to fight the pain constraining my chest to enjoy it. Although, I must say, I cried the whole night. In the morning, I make sure to rise before him. I'm exhausted. The night has been a full one, and the moments where I could get some sleeps I couldn't doze. I don't think Harry did either, judging by the frequency he looked for me. I take a moment to observe him in his sleep, last time I can indulge in the pleasure. Under the shower, the water, running on my body, wash away Ginny from me. Wash away my being a lover, my being sinful. It washes away Harry's presence in me and on me. When I step outside, I'm a new creature, strong and rational. The ace is over. When I wear my clothes, it's me again. The me before all this. I'm the friend, I'm the sister, I'm the one that must repress her feelings. I return to Ron, and I'll be satisfied with my life. I'll take care of my children, I'll take care of my house, and I'll be fulfilled with it. I won't wish for anything different. I resign myself to a half-life. I make a coffee, and while I wait it gets ready, I look outside. The weather is miserable, grey and full of rain, dismal. I go to the window, watching the rain thumping on the pavement. A child, in a yellow raincoat with some blue Wellingtons, passes in front of the window. His mum is taking him by the hand, hurrying him while he endeavors to free himself, longing to jump in the closest puddle. I think about my children. Rose is already a woman. Only last year she wrote me she got her period for the first time. She was very excited, despite the cramps, but perhaps even proud of them, the first pain that marked her entrance in womanhood. I cannot help myself thinking bitterly that he is the first of many, and obviously I'm not talking about the cramps. I would have loved to be born a man. Life is so much easier for them, without having to feel always vulnerable, always wavering, to have always to push your way in a world owned by them and fight arduously to conquer a position, always threatened by your role of a mother that always must come first, and by the support you must give to your husband who, without you, cannot even tie his shoes. I don't know. Maybe I'm exaggerating. Maybe this weather makes me sour. Maybe I'll drink my coffee and I'll feel better afterward. I don't know. I go to wake Harry up. I don't go and kiss him, because a friend is not supposed to do it. I only stand on the threshold without looking in, because he's not dressed. I only knock, informing him that I'm getting breakfast ready. I busy myself on the stove, hearing the water running in the bathroom. A few moments later, he is sitting behind me in the kitchen. None of us spoke. We didn't look at each other. I can feel his gaze on my back while I'm cooking. I'm sorry. Those simple words ring clearly in the empty kitchen, so ethereal and isolated that a moment later I'm not sure if indeed they have been pronounced or it was only my imagination. I know why he's apologizing. Because he cannot love me. Because he gave me a taste of what I'll never have, knowing how much I would have suffered. Because he won't treat me never more the same as the day just passed. Because he cannot rescue me from my infelicity. I close my eyes and I get deep breaths to pull myself together. It's unbelievable how many tears a body can produce. I cried so much in the last few hours that I truly thought I had no tears left. And yet, there they are, behind my eyes, striving to come out. And I shove them back. I gather all my strength to pronounce the following words composedly. Dad, we'll be here in 10 minutes. Can you set up the table?